Man, if we only had anything to talk about tonight, we're just going to go on the YouTube and just talk about what we did this past weekend. There's really nothing going on, but obviously that's all bullshit. We have everything going on tonight, and as usual, I'm joined by E at Channel 0, and Zach at Channel 0. Zach, welcome back. We are excited to have you here.
Zach!
It's good to be back.
Yeah, we got the crew commenting. As you can see, we've mastered some of the technology in your absence. We figured out how to go live, so here we are. So we'll get some comments, maybe some questions here on the right, and we'll pick those out as we go. But obviously, the story of the day is Kim Kardashian and Kanye West getting a divorce. Kanye West allegedly having an affair with a man. Did you guys hear about this?
Is he a man? Is she a man?
She, how do I state this? Yeah, no.
Well, his name is Jeffree
Star, right?
Yeah.
Jeffree Star. So big story. You love Kanye. What's going on with your boy?
I'm so pissed right now about all this shit. I don't give a fuck about Kanye West.
All right, fair enough. Let's talk about the Capitol building. Let's talk about what happened today during the vote, the storming of the building. And, we have a lot to talk about, and there's a lot breaking, so we'll try to keep up with the news as well. If you guys see anything on Twitter or on the news, drop a comment so we can do that. Yes, we'll talk about the tattoos from today. Dano, good call. Let's get right into it. E was actually scheduled to attend today. Decided not to last minute, which is probably a good move because, as you can see, you probably would have been cuffed. You might have been the poor woman that got shot in the neck. That could have been you.
Yeah, I dodged a bullet, a big one. And I felt honestly like a pussy at first when I backed out. I was literally driving to the bus that I was going to meet in Worcester when I had like the change of heart, everything. I was just thinking about everything, and I'm like, something doesn't feel right about this. And it was like, probably, if I can share a couple things real quick, This is like some shit that I was seeing. Like probably this came up about an hour or so before I was taking off, and I'm seeing all this shit on Twitter about bags of bricks, propane tanks set up, and 2x4s. I don't give a shit much about 2x4s, but we're talking propane tanks. Like there's no good reason for that being lining the streets of DC. So
that feels eerily familiar to other things we've talked about in the past, does it not?
I'm saying. And so, and this was actually the actual tweet I saw with the bags of bricks right there. And then this was the video.
Yeah, we got some propane tanks here. Holy shit, 2x4s.
The chick from Everett.
Propane tanks. What the fuck are these doing on the streets of D-fucking-C?
Is that a DC accent? I didn't know they sound like
No
that.
way. No way. But yeah, I was seeing all that shit, and I was like, this is not a good idea. Like, because at the end of the day, too, like I've been to some Patriots championship parades, and just being caught in that crowd, I get claustrophobic, and I was like, as much as I could get good footage, like I gotta like look out for number one here. So, so I did that, and then
good call.
Very good call.
Good call.
Well, not only that, so I'm still on the text message chain with the bus of people that I was going with, and I'm seeing them text all day. Come find me. Where is everybody? Everyone's fucking lost. I mean, I don't know how many people were there today, but it was hundreds of thousands, I would say. At least a couple 100,000. But then what happened too is I was literally about to leave the house.
Okay.
And then I see this this fucking update on my phone about this threat sent to air traffic controllers. I guess today was the 1-year anniversary of us killing Soleimani. And so I'll play the clip here. This is what I saw. There'll probably be some fucking ad or something.
Welcome
of course.
Peloton meditation.
Hey, buy Peloton, guys. We're sponsored by Peloton.
Shut the music off for that. But yeah, so I'm seeing this. I get on the road. I have a change of heart. And I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. And honestly, seeing how today unfolded, I was jealous at the beginning, seeing Trump speak. He went on for like an hour and a half, which we can talk about the speech or whatever. And then after that, when shit just started going haywire, I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I didn't show up for this. So I'll play the video here.
Breaking news, because CBS News has learned that the FBI and FAA are looking into a breach of the air traffic control system tonight after someone broadcast a threat to attack the U.S. Capitol over the radio frequencies used by pilots. CBS's Jeff Begays has exclusive new reporting tonight.
The chilling threat, obtained exclusively by CBS News, was heard by multiple air traffic controllers on Monday afternoon in New York.
We are flying a plane into the Capitol Wednesday. Soleimani will be avenged.
Sources tell CBS News the Pentagon and other agencies were briefed today about the digitized voice recording and believe it was designed to suggest hitting the Capitol on the same day Congress is set to count the Electoral College.
But yeah, you get the point.
Yeah, so it's a great segue to a question that I have for you guys. I'm curious to get your take. You had the air traffic control threat. You had the bricks and 2x4s and propane tanks. You have the general sentiment of the country split right down the middle, almost, right, around how they feel about the election. You are on the heels of all of the BLM riots and Antifa riots, I should say, not necessarily BLM. Why was security so laxed? I know the president is the only one that can activate the National Guard in Washington, D.C. I know Pelosi and the mayor called for the National Guard 2 days prior, or actually, on New Year's Eve was the initial request, I believe. But why was security so laxed when you have all of your top assets, politically at least, in one fucking room?
To me, it's just like the election. Like, why is it so ripe for fraud so that it can happen? Why is this so ripe for this to happen? Like, I smell setup all over this shit. I don't know where you guys are at currently because we didn't talk before the show, but this whole thing is fishy to me. And thanks to everybody that's saying that. Glad that I survived. Appreciate that.
I think there's some component of hubris. Like they didn't believe that this would happen. Like, you guys saw that hilarious picture. You might have it of the dude sitting at Pelosi's desk.
Yes.
I mean, that was fucking funny. That was funny. But like, you better believe that like Pelosi and these people are now at this point, they're like, oh my God, these people could come in and fucking kill me or beat me up or whatever. Like that. I don't think they were even thinking of that prior to this. I just think it was hubris and partly ignorance.
I also think that the right doesn't tend to be as violent as the left until today. However, we have some thoughts around that. But
I get that. And I'm not even look, there's crazy people on both sides. I'll be the first to say it. I'm the down the middle guy. Now that Zach's back, I can slide right back into my role. There's guys or people on both sides that are extreme. And the fact that all of the shit that I mentioned has happened so far in 2020, I didn't even mention when they pissed on our face on the stimulus package. People weren't happy about $600. And then you all convene where literally it didn't look like thousands of people were kicking in the doors. It looked like hundreds to me. And I feel like with a decent security staff, whether that's National Guard or a police force from other counties there to assist, you can avoid this sort of thing. It's just such a major risk. Dude, you just played that thing that Iran made a threat and we don't have military available?
Right, exactly. And I mean, maybe they weren't taking it seriously, but this is a very, very important day. Like you should have like all security hands on deck.
I think part of it too is like, I don't know who was guarding, because the people broke through like a barricade of cops. Was it DC police? Was it feds? Like, what was that exactly? Who was
local police force?
Local police.
Yeah.
Because like, I think part of it is like the local police are afraid to what are you going to do? Shoot them? Then you got a whole nother thing. You can't do that. If you're outnumbered 50-1 or whatever the number is, what do? You you get stampeded and they get in.
Well,
they've also been start killing people.
They've also been shit on all year or
exactly
2020, and they're probably thinking like, why am I putting my life on the line for these assholes? No one has my back when it's time. When the rubber hits the road, no one has my back. So
the people that they're protecting were calling for defunding of their jobs. So they're like, how much do I really want to protect some of these people in there? Like, fuck it. I'm not going to, like you said, I'm not going to die over this.
Yeah, it's true. So let's get to some of the actual, like, who do we think is potentially responsible? Because I truly believe, I'm going to be a little long-winded on this one. with the Antifa and BLM movement, you can go back to those of you that watched our older videos. You can attest to this, or if you haven't, go back. All of us were for BLM as an idea. I think all agree that there is, some level of white privilege for sure, and that they, people of color have every right to fight back and demand change. We get that. Once you insert Antifa and professional protesters, that's where things change. And I think that's what may have happened today. You inserted a bunch of patriots that were amped up. They were jacked up. They've been thinking about this very day for weeks. And then you insert a couple professionals that can go in there and play off the emotions of these people, cause a little bit of chaos. And all of a sudden you have like Jimmy from next door that had no intent on going crazy, all of a sudden being influenced by the sudden just like emotion and chaos that was happening. Is that fair?
I think it's possible.
It's a fair statement. I'll let you finish though.
Well, I mean, I guess I want to get your take. Like, do you think, because I'm seeing a lot of these Antifa, it's that. I think there were patriots mixed in, and I think there were patriots involved for sure. And I think they should all be, whatever, punished accordingly. They shouldn't be, that naive to think there wasn't going to be. Earlier this morning, I made just a random tweet stating practicing for later tonight for the Proud Boys are despicable or something like that, because it was that predictable to me that there was going to be something that happens. If you're not following along and you're there, it makes no sense. I have to assume if you're in DC, you're following what's been happening politically, at least over the past year plus, and you should know that this is a trap. This is a trap situation.
I think with the same thing with the protests happened today. There's some shit was going to go down no matter what. Yeah, maybe some people were, putting their thumb on the scale or whatever. But like, dude, people were fucking probably driving across the country to go to this thing today. It's like, if you care that much to be there, to do this, like, you're fucking insane. I'm glad you're not as crazy as I thought you were. Like, I'm really happy you didn't go down there because this represents exactly what happened with the protests during the summer. We see 0.1% of the right or the left, and we're like, that's the right, that's the left. It's like, that's too simple. This is why there's this huge divide and everyone fucking hates each other, because we see a couple fucking idiots do something really stupid and we're like, that's them, like that's how it works. And this fucking dumb people on both sides.
This was fucking Antifa. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there were agitators involved and all of that. And I'm sure there were some people that on the MAGA side that were very impressionable, if you will. I'm glad that I wasn't there. I might have been one of those people. But at the same time, no. We'll show some shit later on where, like, I'm 1,000% sure that this was Antifa. I've pretty much played out this whole thing in my head now, like where they're trying to go with this, and they're trying to get this vote in tonight, and they're trying to do it while everyone's fucking sleeping, just like they do with the fucking votes, fucking just like fraud here. But and just like they did in Georgia last night, same fucking thing. It's unbelievable how they play these games, and this is what they're gonna do. Because even Rand Paul was just tweeting recently saying it's over now. People aren't going to object to the electoral college because of what happened. Like, that should not, these are two mutually exclusive situations. They should not interfere with one another. Like,
okay. So your first point, I agree with you that Antifa is involved. Maybe where we part ways is the level, right? If you're saying there's thousands or tens of thousands or whatever amount, I think there's far fewer Antifa people than there are true Patriots MAGA people. But the Antifa folks are professional. They know how to incite chaos. That's what they do. If you're standing next to a guy that you think is with you, he's a brother in arms, and all of a sudden he's like fighting a cop, you may jump in. You might. You just very well might, is my thing. The second part on the vote, I don't think the vote's going to go well now. I think people that were supporting Trump have seen a different side of him and seen the level in which at which he's willing to go, which is beyond most. Is it true that Pence no longer follows him on Twitter? I saw that.
Oh yeah. And
That's
also,
the most petty thing I've ever heard.
It
in
is.
my life.
hold on, I'm gonna pull some shit up here because I want to show you something else that I noticed.
Well,
Not only-
Trump was dragging Pence through the mud earlier in his couple tweets. He was just
he
shit.
gave him a fucking chance, dude. Fuck Mike Pence. He's a fucking traitor to this country, and I got some shit on him later too. But let me just show you something real quick. Share my screen here. Notice this when I was looking. Oh, is he no longer following Donald Trump? Well, guess what? Look at his fucking background. It's Kamala and Biden.
Whoa.
Fuck you.
Sorry, I had to
traitor.
get the whiskey down there before I reacted, but holy shit, I did not notice that.
Yeah. Fuck him.
He's just pro-America.
No, he's pro-establishment. They own him.
But seeing that, how are you optimistic about the vote then? If we felt going in he had some control around this, he's still in control, and obviously he's now turned his back on the situation. And it's funny that Linwood has been calling him a traitor for a few weeks now, and it's like future proves past, man. Linwood almost predicted this. I don't know if Pence was almost like pushed into the situation, but it's wild that he was being called a traitor for weeks, and now he has a fucking Harris and Biden on his banner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, first of all, Pence is a fucking weirdo. Did we ever like Mike Pence?
Mother, his wife.
Yeah, he's a fucking weirdo. I don't know why I don't think we ever thought he was actually Trump's guy. Trump brought him on to get the evangelical vote. They were never boys.
Well, whenever Trump was giving a speech and you'd see Mike Pence behind him, he'd be looking at him like he's like proud of his son. He'd be like,
I don't even know if Mike Pence is a human being. Like, he's a robot. That guy's a fucking weirdo.
yeah, no, you're right.
He
So
is.
yeah, I'm.
But answer the question. I guess I'm going to put you on the hot seat. Why are you optimistic then on the vote,
Because
or are you not? Maybe I misheard.
enough, the answer to your question, actually, you brought up Linwood. So I know this guy's a fucking spaz and he talks a lot of shit and everything. He's actually not only has Trump been banned for 12 hours from Twitter, but also Linwood, interestingly enough.
He's banned right now.
He is.
Oh, Trump did get banned for 12 hours?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yep. So now they're taking away, they're crossing the red lines. And this was something Q laid out, which we can talk about later or whatever. Fuck, totally lost my train of thought.
The vote and your optimism around it.
Oh, as far as so it's not, the vote is not what's going to win this. So I was listening to, I forget this guy's name, but if you look up on YouTube, Fireside Chat with Linwood, this guy's done 3 or 4 of them so far. I listened to the latest one just the other day, and Linwood was making his crazy claims. They asked him about the Epstein stuff. He had some answers, and it seems like he's got evidence and he just is about to roll it out. And one thing that he noted in that that whole thing is he said that he doesn't expect January 6th to go well because, as we've said, Mike Pence is a traitor, but he does expect Trump to make the big reveal between the 6th and the 20th of this month, in terms of like all the evidence, not only election fraud, but like deep state, everything. And he was kind of popping off about it. And so
how do you trust Trump though, if you're 51% of Americans or whatever the number is? Well, the Biden people are never going to listen to even the reddest of all pills. They're never going to listen to it.
Well, here's the thing. It's not 51%. It's probably like 30% because the numbers are so skewed on the fucking votes that we don't actually know how many people voted for Biden. So I'm going to go ahead and make an assumption that we still are the majority. I don't know if that's crazy, but that's what I mean.
Man, I'm gonna drop this tweet in the WhatsApp if you don't mind pulling it up, and I'll set it up as you do that, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Sorry, you're the visual guy at this point. I was super disappointed, I guess you can say, by Linwood's tweet at 2:42. He said, "Bill White is an American patriot. Listen to his advice carefully." This is a quote tweet. And what Bill White has to say is, "To our great American patriots, peacefully enter the U.S. Capitol building." Enter the U.S. Capitol building. This is before it happened. Enter both houses. Sit in the people's seats, your seats. Be heard. Fight for us. Fight for Trump. Fight for us or U.S. or whatever it is. But either way, this guy was calling for the exact actions that occurred. Literally, they went in, they literally sat in their seats. I saw images of like Pelosi's email I don't know how they don't have like a auto lock on that, Zach. That's like they need to get a better IT guy on that one. But
hubris, ignorance.
Yeah,
They never
it's
thought
true.
this would happen. They said that they just got up and ran out. Like you didn't just Windows key L and lock that shit before
yeah,
you
like, or after like a minute of inactivity if you're a freaking senator, right? Or a congressperson.
Right.
But isn't that like a very odd, ominous, like prediction, I guess you can call it, by our friend Bill White in Linwood to retweet it and then it to play out just like that? Literally,
I'm wondering where you're going with this. Are you saying that Linwood was directing Antifa on some level? Is that where you're going?
I'm not going with Antifa, but I feel like he was planting some seeds to the base, man. That's some mind control shit right there.
Back to the Antifa thing real quick. Do you think the guy sitting behind Pelosi's desk or the dude wearing the fucking bear skin on his head, are those guys Antifa? Yes.
I have a picture of him at a Portland rally with BLM.
All right.
The guy with the thing on his head?
Hold on 1 second. Let me find it now. You guys talk for a second.
Was he there as a Proud Boy or as Antifa?
He was there as like Antifa or BLM at the time.
Because I was actually gonna ask if Antifa people have a look, because we've talked about this before, that they all have a look, you know? White jack dudes with like tattoos on their chest and like basically masculine men, usually not Antifa bros.
This is true.
So
That's true.
You know, when I saw that guy, I was like, that guy is exactly what the mainstream media thinks is like QAnon MAGA people. It's like that guy with the fucking bear skin, like, you know,
the barbarian guy you're talking about.
So this is
like,
the guy.
oh,
Let me make sure that this is the guy you're talking about.
So he's the guy with the tattoo that looked like the Illuminati symbol as well.
Dude.
Yes. Yeah. There was a really good, very close-up picture of him too.
Yeah. Hang on, I got more of this guy.
Okay.
So with that guy,
that was the picture that Tim Pool tweeted. It just said, "Oh my god."
Yeah. With that guy, I have images of him holding a Q sent me sign that was sent to me by John from Maine on Twitter. So this guy, his allegiance is with Q, and this is from a past rally in Arizona.
This guy sounds like a mercenary.
He just sounds like he likes to riot or be a part of the chaos. So
yeah. So this is him right here, right?
Yeah, that's him.
So there's
That's
a
his
hammer
buddy.
and sickle tattoo. That's his buddy. Both of these guys have been matched up to other.
Do you think that's a hammer and sickle, like a sickle definitively, or are you speculating? Because to me, it's not clear.
I guess it's not that great of a photo. Let me see if from
I've seen this image. I've done the same thing. Zoomed in. It's just like there's no real angle.
Sorry, real quick stop. The guys on either side do look like Antifa, bro.
That's what I'm saying. These guys are all pussies rather than the guy with the fucking tattoos.
Yep. Even the guy with the tattoos. I mean, he's just tall. He's not like.
Yeah, but that thing he's wearing on his head just looks awesome. Let's be honest here. Hold on, I got more on this guy. Maybe not. I thought I had it.
So your thought is that guy, that crew, they're all Antifa. They are not Anons. They are not patriots. They are doing the work of the deep state.
Absolutely, my friend. So, first of all, here's this sign. Antifa Conrads. I mean, this was on November 4th, but this isn't the first time they've tried this. Like, disguise yourself as Trump people. So, this is, their tactics. There's your boy right there. Tempe BLM.
That's
March.
the Arizona one. If you had the whole picture, that sign he's holding says Q sent me.
I was gonna say he's got an American flag painted on his face. He wouldn't have that at a BLM thing.
Whoa! Now I feel like not only an asshole but an idiot.
I did too about an hour ago when someone called me out on Twitter on it.
But the other guy too, that fat little bearded guy. I saw a comparison of him. I don't have it up here. But there was one of him at like an Antifa rally. So you don't think this was Antifa? I think this was a total fucking setup.
Maybe they were partly there, but there's psychos on both sides, dude. There's people from the right. They don't represent like the greater, Trump supporting base. They're just fucking crazy. And they drove 1,500 miles to go to this thing and storm the fucking Capitol. I mean, even if you're Antifa, I mean, how much money are these dudes getting paid? Or like, what the hell is the incentive for these guys to take that risk and do that?
Well, how much money of those that omnibus bill is actually being just like flushed around to causes like this and special interests like this? Like we're talking trillions and trillions of dollars. So I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. If Zach is saying probably not, that Patriots just got rambunctious, I'm I can understand that. And I think a lot in that same direction, but I'm not on east side either, where it's not just all Antifa. Those are thousands of people. There's no chance they bust in that many Antifa members. It's somewhere in the middle, I'd say. I saw a video that four SUVs of Antifa folks got dropped off. But those of you that are listening, in the comments, we are watching. There's a handful of you watching. Thank you for being here, by the way. It's been a crazy day, and thanks for choosing Channel Zero over mainstream media lies. But if you think it was Antifa, drop a Channel Zero E or just an E. If you think it was just the Patriots getting a little out of hand, a little out of pocket, drop a Z or a Zach, and we can kind of get a sense for what the room feels like. But yeah, I mean,
what if it was like a fucking a double reverse, and actually the MAGA people were posting as Antifa people saying, hey, we're Antifa, let's go fuck up the Capitol building, because they plan on doing it all along. And then they could say, hey, it was Antifa. See, look at all this evidence on Twitter, and look at all these memes, and look at all these pictures of this guy in Arizona. See, it was Antifa, but it was actually the MAGA people all along.
So like,
and they were like a couple steps ahead, and they were like, hey, let's just pin this shit on Antifa. We can do whatever the fuck we want. We'll be like, no, it was Antifa.
I can't argue with you because it's like the type of logic that I use. So, but at the same time, like that's just not. It doesn't feel right in my gut. It just feels that this is all Antifa.
Nah, I'm just fucking around. But I do think, hey, maybe Antifa or other people were there, but I think the majority of those lunatics were actually Trump people, just like
they were, and they showed up looking for something. Maybe not exactly storming the freaking Capitol building, but I think people are pissed off. You have to acknowledge that you're pissed off, and maybe they just aren't able to deal with that emotionally like you do, and think about it and want to talk about it and spread the word. Maybe their action is like, I'm pissed and I want to smash and destroy.
There are people like that, of course. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. I also feel like this is a weird take that I'm going to make on this, but they didn't really do any damage to the building, did they?
They did not.
They just kind of went in, like took some pictures and sat in some chairs. Like, so here's my thing, right? I hate Antifa. So if it's Antifa, fuck them. But at the same time, like no real damage was done other than that woman who unfortunately died because she was shot, which anyone with a gun would have been a police officer, correct? Because no guns are allowed in DC specifically today. At least that's what I was told.
They said she was shot by like security or a cop or something.
Okay. Yep. So
did she die?
Yes.
She did die.
Yep.
Is anyone going to go to prison for that?
Probably not.
It's a problem.
What's interesting though is like when they had like the women's march and all this other stuff, they just fucking open the doors wide open and they're like, come on in and occupy us. There's no problems. And it's like way more people and shit. But at the end of the day, there was really no damage done, which I find to be interesting. If you think about like the magnitude of this whole thing, there's really no damage done. It's kind of
doesn't that mean it's not Antifa, right?
Or maybe it is Antifa and their mission to be paid was just get in because this is going to ruffle enough feathers. Because I don't know if you guys heard this, right before they stormed the building, I got an update on my phone that said that there was a bomb threat to the Capitol building.
I saw that.
Yeah, they said they found like IEDs and pipe bombs around the Capitol.
They found pipe bombs at the RNC. And I'm like, this is nuts. But and I was joking too. As soon as I saw that update, I'm like, oh, Trump called in the bomb threat once he saw Pence was going to go against him. But yeah, it's still like at the end of so why did they evacuate? Did they evacuate because of the bomb threat or did they evacuate because people were trying to get in the building, which is a public building?
I mean, does it matter at that point though?
It's a public building that we pay for.
Yeah, but if there's a mob outside and they're kicking the door in, effectively.
This is the same. This is when like the constitutional laws need to be updated a little bit. You know, you ever seen the videos on YouTube? There's a guy in Massachusetts, from around where we're from who goes into like police stations and post offices and town halls, and he just like harasses people. And he's like, nope, it's my right to be here. You don't know your rights. Hey, what's your name? I pay your fucking salary. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, come on, that's not the point of the whole thing. Like, you're abusing it, and you're taking advantage of the wording of the Constitution. So yeah, if you want to flex your constitutional rights, you're just as bad as that douchebag who does that shit too. So
yeah. So
but sorry, last thing, they didn't break anything, and I do think that's kind of an important thing. Like, there was no. Again, if a lot of people are comparing to the protests and the way the media is handling this versus the protests during the summer, which was countrywide for like weeks. This was one day, one place, whatever. But one person shot by like a cop. You know, I don't think things were looted or burned or stolen. So I don't think that kind of shit was going on. I think some people got a little jacked up, got a little over their skis, you know?
But here's where I'll disagree. Obviously there was no damage done, but of all people, symbolism matters. And I think there's some major symbolism when the Capitol building gets stormed, both globally and here within just the states itself. You have Twitter people talking about what an embarrassment. People on the right, people like pussy ass Steve Robinson. I saw some of his tweets, completely disappointed with his lack of just willingness to think outside of the box. He's just going with the narrative and being like, oh, what a crock of shit. This is so terrible for the Republican Party. The GOP is screwed. What a pussy he is. And anyone that follows suit without asking the question of like, who are these people that were involved? What actually happened? You got to ask the why, don't you?
I'm dumbfounded. Like, you're the producer for the Kirk Minahan show, and like you're supposed to kind of be like informed on topics, and you're just going with like the first narrative you get. You're not like actually researching anything. Like, Patriots don't do this shit. I mean, maybe symbolically.
You're painting with broad strokes.
Exactly. Some do.
Yeah, I guess.
Most don't, but some do.
Yeah. But either way, Steve's being a pussy. If you want to come on the show and talk to me about it, I would love to, because clearly you're just taking the first narrative you get or reading a headline and just making a statement. So
wait, sorry, I have one other question that I meant to ask much earlier. Where's Q in all of this? Is he posting? He's
been quiet for like 26 days or something like that.
He's given us so many posts.
Did somebody of significance around Trump die 26 days ago?
Why do you say that?
I'm just curious. You think, like, is Q not around anymore? You don't think
Q's hard at work right now? This is time to put in work. He's given us over 4,000 drops of information. He's given us everything.
Information is a very liberal term. He's given us 4,000 drops. Information, I don't know.
Nothing.
I post a lot on Twitter. I mean, is it useful information? I mean, that's kind of, I don't know about that.
It's not useful at all. It's fucking gibberish. Hey, aren't you glad I'm back, dude?
I am, in a weird way, as much as I'm getting ragged on right now. What the fuck? But, no, seriously. Yeah.
What else you got? Let's keep going. We got people here. They want the tea. What else do you got here?
What else do I got? Well, so give me a second here. All right. So we were talking about the police, right? In terms of like, they were kind of like letting them in my opinion. I wanted to show a couple quick videos that I came across, because this also screams setup to me in a way. Let me pull this up here. So hold on 1 second. Let me make this full screen, because there's a cop, like, see him right there?
Mm-hmm.
Black dude. He's almost like he's just leading them in. Watch. Like,
is he a cop or security?
He is a cop, and if this is accurate, I don't know. But Lewis, thank you. Keep an eye on the comments. He mentioned that the cops were instructed to stand down, so maybe this guy was just instructed not to use any sort of force in a situation like this.
All right.
I guess at that point, why not just leave? Like, what good are you?
Totally. That's what I was just gonna say.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at that point, you might as well just walk out. But hold on. I got one more I want to share with you guys, because this one's a little bit more egregious, at least in my opinion. Let's see here. All right. So here's everybody at the gates of the Capitol.
This one's weird.
Wobbling with protesters. Oh, there we go.
Yep, just open the gates, let him in. Who's this jackass?
And they just breached the Capitol again.
There's supposed to be 4 layers of security before you can get in the Capitol building. And it just seems like they're just letting them pour in. It's like there's no resistance at all. Like
that. But that was my point earlier about the security. I feel like if you have the entire political powerhouse of the country, there needs to be snipers on the building. Does there not? Like the moment stuff like this happens, you start shooting to kill.
Did you guys see Glenn Greenwald's tweet? It was like, since 9/11, billions and billions of dollars in the Department of Defense and all these places against terrorism to defend this country, and you can just walk into the Capitol building with like a couple hundred people. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like that makes no sense. I do agree with that, but this is the stupid thing of like, well, the Constitution says as a citizen, it's my right. This is public property, and I pay your fucking salary. That's how these people think, and it's not for the right reasons, dude. Do you think that that's logical? Is that a logical thing to do?
What happened today was not logical, but the thought behind it, I pay taxes to have these buildings be here. I should have access to them. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're conducting business on behalf of the people, supposedly, hopefully.
They're not.
Maybe. Whatever.
You need to get in there and tell them.
It's an institution that we pay for, yes, but with that thought process, fucking 10,000 people could just storm in there any day and just flood the place, and it's useless now.
Not only that, but we also pay towards the salaries of those police officers, do we not? That comes from tax money, and we pay them to protect the grounds as well. So it cuts both ways.
True.
I mean, I think for any government to be effective, let's pretend that they're trying to do the right thing for a second. You can't just have people fucking walking in when you're trying to conduct business. Like you can't just have that. Like you got to have some rules around that. Actually, back to that guy walking into police stations and stuff. They're actually changing some of the laws in Massachusetts now that don't allow people to do that. Yeah.
I'm all about transparency. I mean,
he's harassing them.
But you know what? You know what they should do? Congress should fucking have this session in a fucking gigantic football stadium and have Americans around them. That way, you have to face the people that you're making decisions for, rather than fucking go on your merry way on your, security and your ride home and all your free bullshit. Fuck you. Stand in front of the
I'll do you one better. They should be doing what we're doing right now. And streaming it online, every conversation, whether it comes down to budget, whether it comes down to votes, there should be full transparency the whole way, especially now when, half the damn country doesn't. It's not even half the country. 4 years ago, half the country didn't believe that Trump won. So effectively, the entire country over the past 4 years or so has questioned the entire voting process.
Yeah.
They have been live streaming this for forever. It's on C-SPAN, but it's boring as fuck and nobody watches it. And only important decisions come up a tiny percentage of the time. They're having meetings and shit on C-SPAN. You can turn on C-SPAN right now. They're probably talking about, well, maybe not right now, but any other day. And they're talking about nothing. And people don't give a shit. It's boring.
I'm glad you brought up C-SPAN. A couple of things. I was watching it today, obviously to watch the hearing. And first of all, they got into the first debate about Arizona, and I don't remember this lady's name, but she killed it. She just laid into the Democrats about everything and how illegal the votes were. That was dope. But before we jumped on here, I checked in with C-SPAN again because I know at some point tonight that Congress is supposed to resume on this whole thing. So I wanted to check in, and it was a show where they were just taking calls. And the first call was some liberal running his mouth, whatever. They let him talk. And then some old lady called in, and she was like, heard about the Rand Paul tweet and was like, I really hope that they, the people who are going to object to the votes hold to that they, just because of what happened today, kind of what I was saying earlier. And the lady was like, yeah, okay. And then just cut her off and then basically hung up the phone. The next guy calls in and he's like, I just want to let everybody know I have friends in law enforcement and the FBI, and they already know that Antifa was a part of this. They've already ID'd a few people, blah, blah. And she's like, you don't have any proof of that. Show us some proof, blah, blah, blah. And she just hung up on him. So it's just amazing to me. Even C-SPAN, the most boring fucking channel, still has a slant. Like, are you kidding me?
And like in the comments right now, RB, everything happens behind the cameras. That is very true. So let's say they did the streaming thing and they had people watch. It's a dog and pony show. They're pulling levers behind the curtain when everyone's sleeping.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how many examples are there when they fucking pass these bills at like Sunday at 8 o'clock when the Super Bowl's going on, or something like that.
New Year's Eve at fucking 11 at night. When
Friday news dumps and stuff. Right, all the time.
Christmas Eve. Yeah, they do this shit all the time. And it's, we're entering into a scary place right now with, if Trump doesn't win this country.
So let's do a quick prediction. And for those of you that are watching live right now, thanks again. We are going to do half the show right now, which you've been watching. And if you've noticed, we haven't gotten too crazy with it because we have some weirdos that do try to act like social justice warriors and fuck with us. Hence the move to Patreon. So the second half of the show will be on Patreon. If you have the $5 to spare, I'd ask you to go and subscribe and take a look. If you don't, we understand. These are weird times and tight times. But before we go, let's get to just some final predictions and thoughts because the vote is going to resume tonight. It might be happening now. I haven't been on Twitter or looking at updates. What's going to happen in the next, let's just say, 24 hours? E, you want to go first?
Well, do you want like realistic or what I'm like pulling for?
Let's go with what you're pulling for.
What I'm pulling for?
Yeah.
What I'm pulling for is people to stick to their guns. People in terms of this vote, whether it resumes tonight at midnight or tomorrow, whatever. The people that we're going to object, I'm hoping more evidence comes out. Maybe I heard something was going to come out of Wisconsin, maybe tomorrow, a potential decertification. And it looks like Pennsylvania is about to decertify themselves as well. So if these things happen, this delayed process almost helps us in a way. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. Let's win this in the Congress the right way rather than having them put the votes towards Joe Biden. And then we have 2 weeks to prove in front of the world everything bad that's going on and get it flipped. Because that's going to be the hope will be very slim at that point.
Okay. What do you think, Zach? Next 24 hours.
So again, for backstory for anyone who I haven't been on Twitter for like a month, basically. Very, very rarely. I haven't been following like any of this shit until today when you guys messaged me. But my gut is in 24 hours. All this did today was further cement Joe Biden's presidency, and he's going to be the president. I mean, it's fucking pretty obvious. And do I want that? No. Did I vote for Joe Biden? No. But it's going to happen. So that's the obvious answer. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
I'm so happy Zach's back. Thank
Me
God.
too.
Thank God. I agree with that with the one caveat. If what Trump has, if he claims to have some sort of smoking gun evidence, right? He and Lynn would claim to have some smoking gun evidence. If they cannot manufacture some sort of images or solid proof that these people were involved with Epstein or the whole pedo thing, like if that stuff never comes out, it's over. Biden's the next president.
Dude, the video that we talked about this like months ago, where hearsay and blah, blah. If you drop a video, like undisputable video of Bill Clinton or some powerful ass person doing something fucked up, that's the only way people are going to believe. They probably still won't believe. They'll probably still say it's a deep fake or whatever. But enough people will be like, oh my God, okay, this is real. But fucking even emails, it can all be forged and faked. Like indisputable video and audio is the only way for people to change their minds at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even that will be argued that, it's a deep fake or some bullshit.
Yeah.
It's tough.
All right. So we're gonna wrap up here. E has a ton. I'm looking at the call sheet right now. There's about, 20 pieces of content that he's going to red pill Zach and myself here that this is an Antifa situation. Anything else you want to tease on the second half here, E?
I'm going to talk about how Mike Pence is a traitor.
Didn't we talk about that already?
As well as, I don't know if anyone's heard this story yet, but your boy Patrick Byrne, CEO of Overstock.com. Yep. So he came out with some real big stuff recently about Obama colluding with Italy to rig the election. So
I saw this.
Talk about that.
We're going to talk about that here shortly. It will drop likely tomorrow. In the meantime, enjoy. Don't get brainwashed by the mainstream media. Think for yourself. Ask questions. Do your own research. See you guys next time.
Thanks, everyone.